Okay, so in life with all these rules, there's usually exceptions, and negatives are an exceptions for inequalities. So with negative signs, if you're multiplying or dividing a negative number and you're doing it with an inequality, there's a special rule you have to do, which is just flipping the sign, okay? So once you have a negative, as you see over here, this is negative b. I know for sure my coefficient is attached to my variable, so I'm going to have to divide. So I'm going to have to divide by a negative number. That's going to cause my sign to flip. Over here, I have to multiply by a negative number, which will cause my sign to flip. So whenever you have a negative that's attached to your coefficient that's next to your variable, you have to flip the sign, okay? We'll go through these 5 examples, and then afterwards, go ahead and do the problems, the other problems in your build. I'm gonna also show you the representations on the number lines, okay? So let's just go ahead and get started. We have negative 4b plus 9 is less than or equal to negative 7. So always start with our constants. We're gonna minus 9 and minus 9. Okay, so now we have negative 4b is going to be less than or equal to negative 16. Here's where everything happens. I'm going to divide by negative 4 and divide by negative 4. So b is now greater than or equal to a positive 4. b is now greater than or equal to positive 4. So this will be our answer. Okay? Now, how this is represented on a number line, we have positive 4 actually over here. So b has to be greater than or equal to that. So your line will go here. So all possibilities of the answers will have to be greater than or equal to positive 4. So it can include positive 4, it can be 5, it can be 6, it can be 7. It does not matter as long as it's greater than positive 4. Let's go ahead and try a couple more. We have negative x over 3 minus 10 is going to be greater than or equal to 11. Same thing, always take care of your coefficients first. Your constants first, I'm sorry, not coefficients. So plus 10, we have negative x over 3 is greater than or equal to 21. Next, we have to multiply by negative 3. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 3. Get the negative out of there. So x is now less than or equal to 21 times negative 3 is going to be equal to negative 63. Okay? So x has to be less than or equal to negative 63. It could be negative 64. It could be negative 63 as well because it's less than or equal. Or it could be negative 70. It does not matter as long as x is less than negative 3. Let me go ahead and put that. X is less than negative 63. And then b is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. Let's try another one. Negative 3t. Oh, actually, let me reverse it. So 9 minus 3t is going to be greater than or equal to negative 21. It's the same thing. I just want you all to get used to the coefficient being first or the coefficient being second. Okay? So I'm going to minus 9 because this is a positive 9 minus 9. So negative 3t is greater than or equal to negative 30. Okay? Now, I'm going to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. So t is now going to be less than or equal to. Less than or equal to 10. Less than or equal to 10. Okay? Now, in order to show this on a number line, what we have to do is find 10, right? It's included, so less than or equal to, and then it goes in this direction. So I had to minus 9 at first to give me negative 30. I have 3t, so divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. t is going to be less than or equal to a positive 10. t is less than or equal to 10. Next, we have negative 3.6 is greater than or equal to negative 0.3a plus 1.2. Me personally, I like to have my solutions on the right side, so I'm just going to go ahead and flip everything so it's something that I'm a little bit more used to. Plus 1.2 is going to be, since I flipped the entire thing, I have to flip the inequality as well. Less than or equal to negative 3.6. You don't have to do that. It's just, it makes me see things a lot better. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 1.2 and subtract 1.2. Both subtractions are both negative, so I just have to add them. So this is going to be 8, and this is going to be negative 4, and then this is going to be negative 0.3a. Okay? Now, I have to divide by negative 0.3 and divide by negative 0.3. So, it's a negative. So, a has to be greater than or equal to 16. A has to be greater than or equal to 16. Remember, negatives, 4.8 divided by 0.3. We can't do that. We can't have a decimal place here. So, let's move it once. Let's move it once. 3. 48. This is something you recognize. How many times does 3 go into 48? It goes in 16 times. That's why I have 16 as my answer. So, a is greater than or equal to 16. Let's go ahead and try one more. Negative 25 plus t over 2 has to be greater than or equal to 50. Let's just make this greater than 50. We've done a lot of greater than or equal to and less than or equal to.